Oh, what's in a name? What is in a name? A lot, depending on what you're a fan of. I'm a fan of the Nissan Z, so when you hear Nissan Z Nismo, that means a lot. Nismo is basically Nissan Motorsport. These are the pumped up, more entertaining offerings from the Nissan family. The Z is already a more interesting option if you're into enthusiast-based products, sports cars, coupes, fun, rear-wheel drive things. Nismo aims to take it further. So how does it do that? Well, you can start with the engine. What normally has 400 horsepower here has 420 horsepower. You also have 34 more pound-feet of torque. The gearbox is a 9-speed automatic gearbox, which we'll dive more into that in a minute, but this one is revised compared to the standard car or the performance version of the car. It has revised clutch packs, revised software tuning to make it just quicker all around and supposed to be more intuitive if you're on a track, which we are not on today, obviously. Now the chassis is stiffer, it's more rigid, there's more bracing. The rear wheels are wider and they're wearing Dunlop Sport Max, like a GTR spec tire. The front brakes are 15 inches, which is larger. The rears are 13.8, which is the same as the standard car. So stiffer, a wider stance, more aggressive braking. The suspension tuning has been revised in terms of the dampers and the spring rates and all that stuff. Again, the engine has more power. So all in all, it's a more responsive package. And this is supposed to be the one that is designed to go out and be the track-focused Z. And it feels nice and tight and properly aggressive for what it is here on the road. I would love to have gone back-to-back with a regular Z to really see what it feels like. But more importantly, I wish I could drive this thing on a track to see if all of these changes add up to the substantial price premium you're getting to buy the Nismo version. The base price of these is like $66. This one has tested as $68,000. This is a $68,000 Nissan Z. Oh, and that's just such a problem for me, that amount of money. I get that it is tuned and revised, and I also think it looks better. I think it looks really good. I think they did a great job, especially white with black is a great Z color. You've got the little bit of red to signify the Nismo trim. There's a little bit of Nismo extra badging. The blacked out raised wheels look fantastic. They tuck into the fenders perfectly. This has the G nose inspired by the 240Z with the way the nose with the covered headlights look that you could get on those cars. And I'm a big fan of the old G nose on the old Fairlady Zs. And it just is a style that looks really good here. You got a little bit of a spoiler out back, almost looks like a cam back effect going on back there. This car looks great. On the inside, these seats, these thin back Nismo seats are almost shockingly comfortable. There's like tons of padding here for the head. There's good room. I think you could easily fit a helmet in this, and I'm saying that as a 6'3" tall person. The steering wheel feels great. I do like the modern screen. I think the gauges are, you know, a throwback, but they're hokey because it has PSI, but it also has turbo speed. I don't care what my turbo speed is. I know some of you are like, well, if you're on a racetrack, you want to keep it below 15 or 150,000. I don't care. Just PSI is fine. Voltage is good to know. And then how fast am I going? Then we have different drive modes here as well. You know, there's the normal drive mode, then you have Sport and Sport Plus. Sport Plus is just a bit too much for the street. It's really bumpy. I've been just driving it in Sport and everything's been great, leaving it just in Sport. I'm gonna turn around here. I have to imagine that this thing is a joy to drive on a track, but on the street as a daily driver doesn't translate to a nearly $70,000 vehicle. Again, it is nice. It sounds fine for what it is. You know, I don't get excited by twin turbo V6 noise. I don't think there's anything very exciting there. CarPlay works fine. The sound system is plenty adequate. And I've had to drive around California freeways, and it's comfortable. Again, I wish I could get a little bit more vertical and then back, but I'm as far back as I can go. So I'm sitting a little bit more relaxed, which is probably, you know, makes it a little bit more comfortable instead of me being up on the wheel. But this makes me think of a time in history when sports cars died. If you go back to the early 90s, we had the Mark IV Supra in all its glory. We had the Z32 era Nissan 300ZX in all its glory. We had the Mitsubishi 3000 GT VR4. These were like Japanese monster sports cars, and they got really, really expensive right at a time when the Ford Explorer debuted, and then everybody goes, why the hell am I gonna spend so much money on a sports car when this newfangled, I mean, sports SUVs had been around for a bit, but this compact SUV, midsize, whatever it was at the time, it made a lot of sense for a lot of families. And the rise of the Explorer and then the SUV competitors, coupled with the insane prices that sports cars were reaching, effectively killed the Japanese sports car market. Germans soldiered on, American pony cars soldiered on, obviously, but JDM, Japanese sports cars, were toast. They died out, they went away. The Z was killed off, Mitsubishi, you know, that went away, Supra went away. Now, fast forward, obviously the 3000 GT isn't here, but fast forward and we have a Supra and we have a Nissan Z. And both are good cars, but both are and can be optioned up to be very, very expensive machines. And I'm not seeing a lot of Zs on the road. I see a few Supras every now and then, but, and again, people buy crossovers and SUVs. History is repeating itself here. I really, really, really wish Nissan didn't go, oh, we got to go after the Supra. I wish they said we got to go after the BRZ and the GR86. Make something, you know, maybe it doesn't need 420 horsepower. Maybe it can do with way less weight, because this thing is like 3,700 pounds or something ridiculous. What if it was like 3,100 pounds and 300 horsepower, and it started at $27,000 and went up to 38, 40 grand for the Nismo version? That's a hit. That's what people want. Cars are too expensive. The enthusiasts generally can't afford the car that they want to buy. The actual true dyed-in-the-wool enthusiasts. Yes, there are exceptions, I know that. If you are a wealthy person who also loves cars and you got your GT3, congratulations. I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about the people who, you know, put a poster on their wall and go, man, maybe someday they might lust after a Z or a Supra or something to that effect. Or even the new Mustang can be lumped in there, because the dark horse shouldn't be $72,000. So I want to see a reversal of trends. I know, like, inflation is crazy and all that stuff, but there's record profits being made. Let's make a car for the enthusiast. Let's take the Z back to the 240Z roots. Let's give it, and I mean, it doesn't even need to be a little turbo engine, but it could be a little turbo engine. But if it was like a 3-liter naturally aspirated engine or something like that, just give it 300 to 310 horsepower. Give it, strip 800 damn pounds out of this car, and then strip $20,000 off the price tag. Let's make that happen. And I don't see why we can't do that. I really don't see why we can't do that. Is it because it would sell too well and Nissan hates selling vehicles right now? I don't know. But what I do know is that this car is fun. It is not $68,000 worth of fun. Yes, I know all cars are expensive now, but this is ridiculous. It looks awesome. It's comfortable inside. It's really fun to drive. $68,000 is a joke of a price. And then, yeah, obviously, we'll get into the gearbox issue. Yes, I wish this had a manual gearbox. Driver's cars, even if it's slower, I don't care. A driver's car, you want a manual gearbox or you want the best automatic out there, like a PDK, and then that's expensive, and we're not dealing with that. This 9-speed gets the job done, and the changes to it do make it feel like a nice, quick gearbox, but come on, man, what are we doing here? Like, just give it the 6-speed manual, it just, I feel like I'm losing my mind here. And I know people who drove it on the track, people I'm friends with said it was so good and it's blah, 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 it's awesome, this and that. And I do respect all of their opinions. However, I've owned a Z car. I drove a 240Z cross country. I've spent a lot of time in different Z cars. This is just an evolution of the 370Z, or it's not a major change for the thing. Just like the GTR is being left to twist in the wind, even though it's still a wildly capable thing. The Z is a wildly, wonderfully capable thing, but it could be either so much more and justify the price, or just go to heck with convention and bring it and make it a BRZ GR86 fighter. That is, then we're getting into a bit more volume and things to make Nissan an exciting brand again. And I feel like I'm dumping on this car, and I am, but I do enjoy this car. I just think the price is bonkers. Whatever they're telling us about the manual is a joke. I don't fully believe it's a track focus, whatever. You know that people are going to complain, and just at least offer it is insane to me. And yes, I'm sure it's quicker. It is going to be quicker, especially to 60 with this automatic gearbox. But forget all that. Let's bring the Z back to its roots. It looks fantastic. Now let's drop the weight, drop the horsepower, so that we can insanely drop the price. The GR Corolla is one of the most entertaining vehicles I've driven in recent years, and that feels properly done, especially if you get the more affordable ones, not the Morizo, not the markups. Nothing I'm saying is involving markups. How do we make that happen? Come on, Nissan, give us a reborn 240Z.